investigation into Tun Dahim's case based on information from Pandora Papers. Malaysia secures top spot in global Islamic economy indicator. Good evening and Salam Malaysia Madani. You're watching Malaysia Tonight. I'm Muhammad Amin Carlos. Well, Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim fully supports the decree issued by the Sultan of Selangor, Sultan Sharafuddin Idris Shah, who reminded the people, especially the non-Muslims, to respect and not to interfere in matters related to Islam in the country. Now, the Premier also asked the non-Muslims to write to the National Council for Islamic Religious Affairs, or MKI, if they have any concerns. Elaborating further in a Facebook post today, Datuk Seri Anwar said to avoid any confusion, non-Muslims can write to MKI to resolve any confusion in a harmonious and civilized atmosphere. Sultan Sharafuddin, who is the MKI chairman, made the statement yesterday in response to the call made by Berwas MP Datuk Nge Kuham for the government to include non-Muslim experts in the special committee to study the competence of the State Legislative Assembly in enacting Islamic laws. In a post on the Selangor Royal Office Facebook, the Sultan of Selangor said MKI is entrusted with the responsibility to oversee all matters related to the Muslim community, adding that the council comprises of experts knowledgeable in various fields, particularly those involving Islamic law and religion. Therefore, Sultan Sharafuddin hopes that politicians, especially those who are non-Muslims, refrain from interfering in matters related to Islam. The Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission, MACC, today said that the investigation into a case involving former Finance Minister Tun Dahim Zainuddin was based on information obtained from the Pandora Papers. Now, it said that the investigation papers into the case were opened in February this year. While commenting further on the matter through a statement release, MACC said the investigation on Tun Dahim was carried out under Section 23 of the MACC Act 2009 and Section 4, Subsection 1 of the Anti-Money Laundering, Anti-Terrorism Financing and Proceeds of Unlawful Activities Act 2001. Now, it also stressed that it had never issued any official statement accusing the former finance minister of having committed any wrongdoing. Now, it said that on 7th June, a notice under Section 36, Subsection 1, Subsection A of the MACC Act 2009, Act 649, was submitted to Tun Dahim, requiring him to declare all his assets, both local and abroad, in a written and sworn statement within 30 days from the date of the notice. As part of the MACC investigation process, the public prosecutor issued a notice of seizure for Menara Ilham on 18th December under Section 38, Subsection 1, MACC Act 2009 for seizure of immovable property. MACC also urged all parties not to speculate on the case and allow the investigation to continue without interruption. Well, although the COVID-19 situation in this country is still under control, health experts have advised the people to take precautions by continuing practicing the standard operating procedures, or SOPs, to prevent virus infection. International Medical University IMU Deputy Vice Chancellor of Research, Professor Dr. Lokman Hakim Sulaiman, said this is because the people must continue to live with COVID-19 as there is no sign that the virus will disappear from the face of the earth. Now, he said COVID-19 is at the endemic stage, which means that it will always be there in the environment and constantly mutating. Well, although Malaysia began the transition to endemic phase on 1st of April last year, Dr. Lokman Hakim also encouraged the public, especially those in high-risk groups, including the elderly and people with chronic diseases such as cancer, to take boosted doses of the vaccine. Now, yesterday, Health Minister Dr. Zulkifli Ahmad said no new COVID-19 variants have been detected in the country, and the situation remains under control, with most reported cases involving mild symptoms and not requiring hospital treatment. Well, the Health Ministry will continue to monitor the COVID-19 situation and its related variants from time to time. While Public Health Physician Associate Professor Dr. Malina Osman, meanwhile, said wearing a face mask is highly encouraged, especially in public or crowded places. Well, guided by the principle of relevant, lovable and relatable, RTM has undergone so much evolution in a span of 1 year to reach wider audience groups on multiple fronts. Now, with these principles in mind, RTM has been turning heads left and right throughout 2023 via numerous changes made to its appearance to look more vibrant and energetic. Now, Malaysia Tonight spoke with RTM's Director General, Dato' Suhaimi Sulaiman, to get an insight of what we can expect on our screens in 2024.
2023 has seen massive changes in RTM as part of its effort to cater to the need of the people and evolve according to the current media landscape.
Not just waiting for audience to come to us. We have to work hard. We have done our research, we have done our survey internally. We know where are the people that where we can reach potential audience and grow our viewers. Basically now we produce content that will move to different platforms. So we have to help the programs to grow legs so that they will crawl to all these different platforms. So that's the strategy for 2024.
Fueled by positive energy, RTM is gearing towards 2024 in full force to reach towards greater heights.
You must have the energy to produce good content, you must have the energy to present them, and you must have the energy to market them. And when people see you are excited in producing something, yeah, you can tell a good production than not a very good production, because it's based on that energy. It is that energy that will carry us to 2024, and that will be something that we can actually continue watching, and I don't think people will be disappointed at all. In fact, they'll be very happy with our offerings for the coming 2024. Yeah, we have lots in the pipeline, be it news, be it magazine, dramas, entertainment, sports, lots of things to watch. Well, 2024 will be an exciting year for RTM because we have new programs, variety of content, and we also have exciting approaches in storytelling. Yeah, you can watch us on TV1, TV2, TV OK, Berita, Sports, and also on our OTT, which is RTM Click. Suhaimi Sulaiman, RTM.
Coming up, oil prices shed in 2023 as supply concerns wane. Well, Malaysia has once again secured the top position in the Global Islamic Economy Indicator, GIEI, for the 10th consecutive year. And according to a statement released by the Halal Development Corporation Berhad or HDC, the 2023 rankings place Malaysia at the forefront, followed closely by Saudi Arabia, Indonesia and the UAE. While citing the 2023-24 edition of the State of the Global Islamic Economy or SGIE report, HDC said Malaysia secured first place in Islamic finance, halal food, and media and recreation, coupled with a commendable second place ranking in modest fashion, third spot in pharmaceuticals, and fifth in tourism. Well, since the inception of the SGIE report, Malaysia has consistently claimed the first position, showcasing the nation's enduring commitment to the Islamic community and economy. Now, HDC Chairman Khairul Azwan Harun said the milestone underscores the sustained progress within Malaysia's halal ecosystem since the establishment of HDC in 2006. Now, moving forward, HDC said Malaysia anticipates continued leadership driven by year-on-year growth in halal foods and bolstered by the increasing worldwide demand for products that adhere to halal standards. The statement added that Malaysia, with 84 recognized certification bodies to date, is well positioned to comply and participate, particularly in the halal ingredients sectors such as halal gelatin. Well, Bank Negara Malaysia BNM has reappointed Lim Chi Sing as an external member of the Monetary Policy Committee or MPC for a 3-year term effective 1st January 2024. Now, Lim is currently serving a 2-year term as a member of the committee since 2022. Well, according to the central bank statement recently, an economist by training, Lim began his career with BNM in 1981, where he worked for close to 11 years. He then joined RHB Research as its regional economist and was subsequently promoted to the head of research in 2002. Well, he served as executive director and chairman of RHB Research between 2013 and 2017, and also as group chief economist of the RHB Banking Group and equity market strategist for the Malaysian market for RHB Research. Well, apart from Lim, the other external member of the 8-member MPC is former Malaysian Rating Corporation Berhad chief economist Nur Zahidi Alias, who was also reappointed early this year for a 3-year term effective 1st January this year. Now, the MPC, responsible for setting BNM's benchmark interest rate, is scheduled to meet 6 times in 2024, with the first meeting set on 23rd and the 24th of January. AirAsia Aviation Group has announced the appointment of Riyad Azmat to its board of advisors as he relinquished his position as the chief executive officer of AirAsia Berhad, effective tomorrow. Now, the group said Riyad would also continue to be on the board of AirAsia Berhad and Ground Team Red, apart from providing consultancy work for Capital A Aviation Services. Asia Aviation said Riyadh, through his strategic vision and profound leadership, has played a crucial role in navigating the airline through the challenges posed by the COVID-19 pandemic. Now, it said his leadership has been instrumental in not only sustaining the airline during these unprecedented times, but also in positioning it for a promising future in the post-pandemic landscape. Now, Riyadh said that while stepping down as the CEO, he is looking forward to continue supporting the company in its next chapter. Now, Group CEO of Air Asia Aviation Group, Bo Lingham, said Riyadh will remain as integral part of Air Asia by joining the board of advisors, and he noted that all operations will continue as usual and will remain unaffected by this transition. Air Asia will be announcing additional updates on the restructuring of the company and personnel within the group in due course. Well, Vietnam's economic growth slowed to 5.05% this year from an expansion of 8.02% last year, according to official data weighed by weak global demand, while public investment stalled amid an intensified anti-graft crackdown. Now, according to data released by the government's General Statistics Office, or GSO, this year's gross domestic product growth was below a government target of 6.5% and lower than average growth of 5.87% during the previous decade. Well, Vietnam is a regional manufacturing hub that relies heavily on trade. Now, the GSO said in its report that exports in 2023 fell 4.4% from last year to $355.5 billion, with shipments of smartphones, its largest foreign currency earner, dropping 8.3%. Its industrial production index in 2023 rose 1.5% from last year, while average consumer prices in the year rose 3.2%. Retail sales were up 9.6%, while imports in 2023 fell 8.9% to $327.5 billion, resulting in a trade surplus of $28 billion for the year. Well, a large trade surplus is supportive for the dong currency, but a sharp fall in imports could indicate a slowdown in manufacturing activities in the months ahead. Well, the central bank has this year cut its policy rates 4 times, reducing its refinance rate and discount rate by an accumulated 150 basis points each. Well, China has maintained a balanced international payments position in the first 3 quarters of this year with a reasonable current account surplus. Now, this is according to the 9-month report released by the State Administration of Foreign Exchange. Now, according to the report, in the first 3 quarters of this year, China's current account recorded a surplus of $209 billion with a ratio to gross domestic product, or GDP, of 1.6%, which falls within a reasonable range. Now, in the third quarter alone, China's current account registered a surplus of $62.8 billion, while the capital and financial accounts recorded a deficit of $62.3 billion. Now, there was a surplus of $161.1 billion under trade in goods and a deficit of $66.2 billion under trade in services for the third quarter. Well, in terms of the capital and financial accounts, the third quarter recorded a deficit of $100.4 billion under the financial account, excluding reserve assets, and a decrease of $38.2 billion under reserves assets. On another note, the balance of agriculture-related loans in China grew 15.1% year-on-year to 56.22 trillion yuan in the first 11 months of 2023, with financial institutions increasing support to the agricultural sector. Well, according to the latest data released by the National Financial Regulatory Administration, the balance of loans to farming, forestry, livestock and fishery grew 14.8%. The balance of farmers' loans increased 12.5%. The balance of farmland infrastructure loans rose 34.1%. And the balance of loans for agricultural science and technology grew 20.8% year-on-year. Now, there are now 3,862 small and medium-sized banking institutions with nearly 80,000 business outlets in rural areas across the country, which have become major financial service providers to rural households and businesses, said the administration. Now, the cost of agriculture-related financing is also remarkably lowered. The National Financial Regulatory Administration said in the first 3 quarters, the national average interest rate for inclusive agriculture-related loans had dropped 2.44 percentage points from the same period 5 years ago to 5.45%, while authorities meanwhile have pledged stronger financial support for farmers to advance rural revitalization. Well, crude futures lost over 10% in 2023 in a tumultuous year of trading marked by geopolitical turmoil and concerns about the oil output levels of major producers around the world. Now, Brent crude on Friday settled at $77.04 a barrel, down 11 cents. A U.S. West Texas Intermediate crude settled at $71.65 a barrel, down 12 cents. Now, both contracts slipped more than 10% in 2023 to close out the year at their lowest year-end level since 2020. Economists and analysts forecast that ongoing geopolitical tensions could provide support to prices. Now, the Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries and Allies, or known as OPEC Plus, is currently cutting output by around 6 million barrels per day, representing about 6% of global supply. Now, the war in West Asia also prompted jitters about potential supply disruptions in the final few months of this year that are expected to last into 2024. This month, attacks by Yemen's Houthi group on shipping vessels transiting the Red Sea route also forced major firms to reroute their shipments. Now, although certain companies are preparing to resume movements through the Suez Canal, some crude oil and refined product tankers are still opting for the longer route around Africa to avoid potential conflicts in the region. Well, Boeing is warning Southwest Airlines, American Airlines, and other major carriers about a possible loose bolt in the rudder control system in its 737 MAX jets. Well, the alert comes after an international operator discovered a bolt with a missing nut while performing routine maintenance on a mechanism in a jet's rudder control linkage. Now, Boeing said the issue identified on the particular airplane has been remedied, but out of an abundance of caution, it is recommending operators to inspect their 737 MAX airplanes. Now, Boeing's message to air carriers included instructions to inspect specific tie rods that control rudder movement to the potential loose hardware. Now, Southwest, American, United Airlines, and Alaska Airlines confirm inspections will be done on the 737 MAX jets that they fly. It is the latest safety issue for Boeing's best-selling 737 MAX, which gained notoriety in 2019 when U.S. aviation regulators grounded the jets following 2 crashes that killed 346 people. Now, the planes were not permitted to fly for about 20 months. In recent months, deliveries of 737 MAX jets were slowed after the discovery of production flaws in fuselages produced by Spirit Aerosystems. Now, Boeing and Spirit Aerosystems said they discovered improperly drilled fastener holes on the fuselages of some models. Well, U.S. prosecutors said they do not plan to conduct a second trial against Sam Bankman-Fried, who was convicted last month of stealing from customers of his now bankrupt FTX cryptocurrency exchange. Now, in a letter filed in federal court in Manhattan, prosecutors said the strong public interest in a prompt resolution of that case against the 31-year-old former billionaire outweighed the benefits of a second trial. Now, they also said much of the evidence that could be offered at a second trial was already presented at the first trial. The prosecutors added that Bankman-Fried's scheduled 28 March 2024 sentencing will likely include orders for forfeiture and restitution for victims of his crimes. Jurors on 2nd November convicted Bankman-Fried on all 7 fraud and conspiracy counts he faced. Prosecutors had accused him of looting $8 billion from FTX customers out of sheer greed. The Bankman-Fried had faced 6 additional charges that had been severed from his first trial, including campaign finance violations, conspiracy to commit bribery, and conspiracy to operate an unlicensed money transmitting business. Bankman-Fried could face decades in prison when he is sentenced by U.S. District Judge Lewis Kaplan in Manhattan. South Africa files ICJ case against Israel's genocidal acts. That and more coming up. Well, South Africa launched a case at the International Court of Justice, that's the ICJ, against Israel for what it said were genocidal acts in Gaza, with Israel rejecting the case with disgust. Well, the ICJ application related to violations by Israel of its obligations under the Genocide Convention and said that Israel has engaged in, is engaging in, and risks further engaging in genocidal acts against the Palestinian people in Gaza. In the Hague application, South Africa also said that Israel has been acting with the requisite specific intent to destroy Palestinians in Gaza as part of the broader Palestinian national, racial and ethnical group. Now, in the ICJ filing, South Africa asked the court to protect against further severe and irreparable harm to the rights of the Palestinian people. Well, South Africa has long been a vocal supporter of the Palestinian cause, with the ruling African National Congress Party often linking it to its own struggle against apartheid. Decisions by the ICJ, which judges disputes between states, are final, but it has no means of enforcing its decisions. It can also order emergency measures pending the full resolution of cases, which can take many years. Israel's relentless military campaign in Gaza since 7 October has killed more than 21,500 people, mostly women and children. Well, huge surf was battering the U.S. West Coast on Friday, with forecasters warning of more danger ahead after a rogue wave swept pedestrians off their feet and swamped a hotel. Now, rollers as high as 9 meters were expected to lash parts of California and Oregon as a powerful storm capped a year of wild and often wet weather for the region. Ventura County, just north of Los Angeles, took a walloping on Thursday, with several people hurt. Now, the Los Angeles Times reported the nearby Inn on the Beach boutique hotel was inundated with 2 feet of water, with the waves smashing glass and tossing furniture around. The National Weather Service warned of extremely dangerous conditions, with powerful waves and life-threatening rip currents pose an exceptional risk of ocean drowning and damage to coastal structures. Forecasters said high surf is anticipated all along the coast, with some flooding possible through Saturday evening. Now, the waves are being generated by a storm that is also bringing heavy rain to areas further inland, as well as the chance of a decent snowfall over the Sierra Nevada during the weekend. Coming up in sports, Safawi determined to repay trust in Qatar. Well, national right-winger Mohamed Safawi Rashid aims to repay the trust given to him by head coach Kim Pangon after being called up to strengthen the Harimau Malaya squad for the upcoming 2023 Asian Cup in Doha, Qatar next month. The Johor Darul Takzim player, who is reportedly set to be loaned to Terengganu FC next season, admitted that he did not expect his services to be sought by the South Korean coach due to a lack of playing minutes with the Southern Tigers squad this year. Despite the shortage of playing time, Mohamed Safawi said that he consistently maintained his fitness level by giving 100% commitment in every training session conducted.
Saya akan bagi yang terbaik untuk lawan negara yang dalam ranking yang terbaik, 24 terbaik dan dunia. So saya rasa itu satu peluang untuk saya mencipta lagi nama untuk di pentas tinggi itu.
And that's all the time we have tonight. In a top story, investigation into Tun Daim's case based on information from Pandora Papers. Till then, I'm Muhammad Amin Carlos, and from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. Thanks for watching.